Yes, my friends, we are still reading from More Shocking Secrets and American History, 103 Surprising and Amusing Tales by Bill Coate. Because this is the only time I read it. And it gives me a great opportunity to read this, and we're like halfway through. Okay, so, we're going to read about Fighting Joe Wheeler. No, we're not fighting Joe Wheeler. His name was Fighting Joe. Apparently he served two masters. This guy was a Virgo, by the way. You know what they say about them. When the battleship Maine mysteriously exploded in Havana Harbor on February 15, 1898, the United States quickly went to war against the moribund Spanish Empire, and President William McKinley placed Congressman Joe Wheeler in charge of the nation's volunteer forces. The commander-in-chief made Wheeler a two-star general, but in doing so, he set the stage for a vigorous debate 8 years later. After his death in 1906, Wheeler was buried in Arlington National Cemetery, but not without considerable controversy over the general's burial clothes. Should I have it like this? After the outbreak of the Spanish-American War, General Wheeler took command of a largely unmounted cavalry division in William R. Schaefer's V Corps. The troops under his command, which included Theodore Roosevelt's Rough Riders. Now, Theodore Roosevelt later became the vice president to William McKinley on McKinley's second term. And they won the Battle of Las Horcimas and took part in the assault of San Juan Heights near Santiago, Cuba. At the conclusion of the campaign in Cuba, General Wheeler commanded a brigade in the Philippines, and after the war he was placed in charge of the convalescent camp at Montauk Point, New York. Subsequently, Wheeler commanded the Department of the Lakes until his retirement in September of 1900. For the next 5 years, Wheeler toured the country speaking on military affairs and assisting in various civic projects. In 1906, he went to go visit his sister in Brooklyn, New York, and on January 25th, he died unexpectedly. But now I have heard that he had a prolonged illness or had some prolonged things going on with him. But nonetheless, he did die unexpectedly. Wheeler's son, Major Joseph Wheeler Jr., then announced that his father was going to be honored for his service in the Spanish-American War by being laid to rest in the Arlington National Cemetery. The authorities had given their assent, but this was before they learned the younger Wheeler and what he intended. They had been told by the son that his father would be buried in his major general's outfit, and they assumed the two stars would be on the shoulder strap of the deceased United States Army's uniform. The younger Wheeler, however, had something else in mind. He wanted his father buried in his major general's uniform, all right, but not that of the United States? After several attempts to dissuade the younger Wheeler, the officials of Arlington finally gave in, since they had already given permission for Wheeler's interment in Arlington. Hence, they buried General Fightin' Joe Wheeler in a major general's uniform, but it was gray instead of blue. Before old Fightin' Joe Wheeler put on the Union blue to serve in the Spanish-American War, he had actually rendered vigorous service as a major general in the Army of the Confederate States of America? When President William McKinley made the old soldier a major general for the second time and sent him to fight in Cuba, he did so on the basis of Wheeler's reputation for winning battles against the United States during Civil War. Thus, today, Joseph Wheeler is the only general buried in Arlington National Cemetery wearing the uniform of the Confederacy. He had worn a pair of stars for both the blue and the gray, and had fought for each in two different wars. In the end, however, the gray won out. Apparently, some things are just not susceptible to change. Joe Wheeler. More shocking. That was shocking. That was real shocking. More Shocking Secrets in American History. 103 Surprising and Amusing Tales by Bill Coate. There we go.